philosophy of solitude. The Stoic listened inwardly so that when he spoke, his words were clean. He paused so that when he acted, his movement was precise. Later, in monastic traditions, Christian, Buddhist, and beyond, silence became a sacred architecture. The monk's cell was not a prison, but a workshop of the soul. Each hour of quiet labor, each prayer uttered into stillness, was an act of alignment between the human and the eternal. They understood that silence itself is a teacher. It confronts vanity, softens pride, and replaces noise with attention. Their lives remind us that solitude need not mean withdrawal from love. It means returning to love's source. For when the mind is quiet, the heart remembers how to give without fear of loss. From these ancient roots, we learn the first principle of solitude. That stillness is not absence of life, but the space where life gathers strength. The Stoic withdraws to understand. The monk withdraws to serve. Both emerge clearer, steadier, more generous than before. Solitude is thus a rhythm, inward to restore, outward to give. Like the tide, it teaches balance, engagement followed by retreat, sound followed by silence, world followed by self. The power of silence is that it prepares us to return to sound with purpose, to speak less but say more, to act slower but with greater precision, to live quietly but with unshakable presence. The romantic and transcendental centuries past, the voice of solitude changed its tone. Where the ancients withdrew for discipline, the romantics withdrew for discovery. They turned from marble cities toward forests, from the forum to the mountain lake. They sought not logic, but presence, not order, but wonder. Montaigne retreated into his library tower to study the motions of his own mind. He wrote that each man bears the entire form of the human condition. To know the world, he suggested, one must learn to dwell with oneself. Later, Rousseau walked the wooded paths of France and found that solitude purified perception. When alone, he said, he could hear the beating of his heart as though it were the pulse of nature itself. And in America, Henry David Thoreau built his small cabin by Walden Pond. He cut himself away from the machinery of society to see what remained when noise fell silent. He learned that simplicity is not deprivation, but revelation, that when possessions and chatter fade, the mind begins to hear the language of the earth. Solitude, for the Romantics, was not exile, it was expansion. In silence, they found communion with everything. The self that was once bounded by walls became porous to wind, water, and sky. They discovered that the soul grows in the same way that a forest does, quietly, imperceptibly, in the absence of constant disturbance.